not knowing you have this core wound can make you feel like it is your fault and all of this is true. And it's not true. It is definitely not true that you are always doing something wrong. That is a trauma response. That is something you've learned in childhood. So let's look at some of the signs that you've actually got this core wound, because then you can be aware of it and it won't hinder you as much in your daily life. So the first sign is that you almost constantly hold your breath. You might not even be aware of it, but right now, are you holding your breath? Can you just let go for a minute and just breathe deeply or slowly? You don't even have to really breathe deeply. Just slowly. Just see if you hold your breath. It might be something you're doing unconsciously, like waiting for the other shoe to drop. And because of that, you're always in a kind of tense state, holding your breath. So that definitely is one of the signs. The second one is not allowing yourself to relax, because when you relax, you might not pay attention and then you might do something wrong. So you're always feeling like you have to do something, or you're always doing something. You're always on the go. You feel this unrest in your body. And that can very well have to do with the fact that when you relax, you're being yourself. And that means that you will do something wrong if you have this core belief. The third is you feel like you're going to get in trouble. You feel like this little child still that is going to get in trouble sooner or later, and you don't even really know why, because this is one of the big things of the fearful avoidant attachment style, that the punishments and the lashing out that your fearful avoidant parent did, it wasn't really logical. It wasn't consistent. It wasn't congruent. So you never really knew when it was going to happen, and when they were actually going to really be mad at you, because one day they could be mad at something you did, and then the next day they could be okay with the same thing that you did. And this is the part where the fearful avoidant attachment style really develops, because you just never know what to expect. Is it going to be this today, or is it going to be that today? And because of that, you're always feeling like you're going to get in trouble, because there's just no rhyme or reason to it. There's no logical sense to it. What would get you into trouble? So you now maybe still have that feeling that you're going to get in trouble, even if you're just, being a grown-up and being an adult. And it's not that you think, oh, I'm going to get in trouble with my mom and dad. When you grow up, like when you're a child, your father and mother or your parents or caregivers are your world. Your world is just really small. It's your home. It's maybe your neighborhood. And so getting in trouble just feels very big when it comes from your parents. And then when we grow up, your world kind of expands, right? It becomes larger. You realize that there are countries on the other side of the world, and that there's a country that you live in, and that we have, well, it's just way bigger than your house and your neighborhood. And so when you feel like you're going to get in trouble, it's not your mom and dad that you can now kind of handle, maybe because you're an adult. It's the bigger thing. Like, you could be very scared of the police, or you could be very scared that somebody's going to sue you, or that somebody powerful is going to betray you or want something from you. Or so it kind of like takes a step up, if that makes sense. The going to get into trouble thing, it's not your mom and dad anymore, but it can still feel as overwhelming, because your fear brain just kind of translates it or projects it onto something that is as big and powerful as your parents once felt. Does that make sense? So that is the third. And the fourth is hiding and not doing things, and feeling resistance towards doing things, because as long as you hide, as long as you don't do anything, you can't really do anything wrong. That's the logic of your fear brain. And so you will feel immense resistance towards doing things, towards creating things, towards deadlines and finishing things, because what if you do something wrong? You always do something wrong, so you probably will now. And so it's so much safer and more comfortable to hide and to not do things. And this makes so much sense. It makes so much sense if you have that core wound of I'm always doing something wrong. Because just imagine if you have that core belief that is always running in the background, why would you start doing things? Because you're always going to do something wrong. So you might as well just hide and not do things. And the thing that always touches me the most about this is that you actually do this almost to protect others, because you just don't want to do something wrong and then hurt somebody. And so you hide and not do things and feel all this resistance, not necessarily for yourself, but just so you won't hurt others or be inconvenient to others, which is definitely a fearful avoidant trauma response. And yeah, it's you are so valuable. You are whatever you want to do, whatever comes naturally out of you that you want to do is valuable, and you really don't have to be perfect and not make mistakes for it to be valuable. It doesn't have to be perfect to be valuable. So yeah, you might do something wrong, you might make a mistake, you might fail, and that's okay, because we all do that. So hiding and not doing things is not because all of this is true, that you are always doing something wrong and because of that you're a bad person or whatever. It's a trauma response, and I so wish for you that you will heal that, and you just do whatever you feel like doing, uh, without all of that resistance that is just very draining and very exhausting. So if you're tired all the time, that might be actually a sign also. The fifth sign that you have got the core wound, I'm always doing something wrong, is that you're always reading people for signs that they are unhappy with you. You just kind of assume that somebody is going to be unhappy with you. And so when you're talking to people, when you're in a group, when you're saying hi to someone on the street that you kind of know, you're always looking for signs that they are unhappy with you. Because if you've had this feeling as a child, in childhood, that you were always doing something wrong, that is what you just assume with everybody around you, with all the relationships that you have, that you must have done something wrong or you're going to do something wrong, and you don't even know what it is. Because again, that is really part of the fearful avoidant attachment style, that you just don't know. You don't know what you're doing wrong because it's not explained, or because it's incongruent. One day that's okay, next day it's not okay. And so there's this big insecurity that you just never know when you're doing it right. And even if you feel it's right, somebody else, your parent, could still lash out at you or punish you or get angry at you or make you feel like you were doing something wrong. So that's why you're always reading people for signs that they are unhappy with you. And following that, the sixth sign is that you are always assuming that people are mad at you. So unhappy, yes, but that's already I mean, that assumption already is kind of sad, that somebody is unhappy with you. But for the fearful avoidant, a lot of fearful avoidants actually have this belief or this feeling that everyone is mad at them for some reason. So for one person, it could be this, for another person, it could be that. And the thing is, you probably learned that when somebody is mad at you, that it is your fault. And so it is your responsibility to figure that out and then make up. And that's not true. It's not your responsibility to make up, how do you say it? To rectify or make somebody feel better after being angry with you. And this might be like a mind blow moment, because I know it was for me when I realized this, that when somebody is mad at me, it doesn't mean that I did something wrong. It means that they are unregulated. And that could be because of so many things. And so many times it is their fears, it is their beliefs, it is their triggers that cause them to act in an angry way. And I'm not saying to never take responsibility for anything, but if somebody doesn't communicate to you why they are mad or why they feel like that you've hurt them, it is not your job to figure that out and to ask them like, are you mad at me, and why are you mad at me, and what can I do. It's their job to express that and to communicate that. And when they do that, that is when you can take responsibility for your actions and your behaviors, and change them for the relationship. It is also your responsibility to do that with others. So when you feel hurt by somebody, talk to them, communicate that, express what hurt you, and express your needs. And that's very hard for a fearful avoidant too, because you've learned that it is the responsibility of the other party to make up. And that's why a lot of fearful avoidants can actually use anger as a power tool, almost a way to gain power over somebody. You just get angry at them, and then you have the upper hand in a way. And that's why a lot of fearful avoidant parents use this. It is just a way to get control. And that's what fearful avoidant parents want. They want control over their child because that's what they believe they have to have in order for that child to grow up in this world and be a well-adjusted adult, which is just not true. That is not the way you raise a child. Obviously, I mean, we have the fearful avoidant attachment style. We know that's not a healthy way to parent. So using anger as almost like a power tool or power mechanism is something you might be quite used to, and so it takes a little while to actually turn that around and be vulnerable, really, and express what hurt you, and not use anger against others. And the more you do that, the more you realize that, hey, wait, I have a choice in being angry or not. I don't have to be angry at people. I can just express what I don't like. I can express my needs. I can express my boundaries. Anger is not really necessary. It's not that you can't have it, but it's yours to regulate. That's your responsibility. You can feel anger and allow that emotion to be there, and then feel your way through it to where you get to a point where you can find, okay, what do I actually need, or where do I actually need to put up a boundary? So you don't have to communicate in anger. The more you realize that, the more you heal that, the more you will see that when somebody is angry at you, that's them. That's their inability to regulate. That's their inability to feel where they need to put up boundaries and where they need to express needs. And that's not a bad thing. I mean, we don't want to hold people to a perfect standard. We don't want to hold ourselves to a perfect standard. So every now and then somebody's going to get angry. But when you have this feeling that everyone is mad at you, this is very important to remember, that anger is their responsibility. And if they're not communicating to you what they're angry about, that's very unhealthy behavior. And it's not your responsibility to fix that. And so I hope that will give you the freedom to let go of that very threatening feeling that everybody is angry with you. Oh, my lamp just shut down. But these are the 6 signs that you've got that core wound, always doing something wrong. And I really hope that through this video you realize that you are not always doing something wrong just because you believe you are. It really is a learned trauma response, and it is okay to let that go. It is safe to let that go. You are valuable. Whatever you want to create or want to do is valuable. The things you say are valuable. You are not always doing something wrong, even if you think that you are. So I hope this was valuable. Please let me know in the comments below if it was, if you recognize this core wound, and if you want to completely release this, if you really want to let go of this core wound and of all the core wounds of the fearful avoidant attachment style, please check the link to my online program Healed and Happy in the description below, because there we work on these core wounds. And when you heal this core wound, the world just becomes a safer place, and it becomes so much easier to have relationships with people, because this always assuming that people are unhappy with you or mad at you, it kind of breaks the connection. It is really hard to connect with somebody if you feel like they are always going to be unhappy with you or angry at you. And so I wish for you to just feel that safety and to be able to connect in the way that you want to. As always, I am so happy you are here, and I will see you in the next one.